So moving on to the next statistical topic, confidence interval. I had a
Hmm.
lot of fun, talking about this on LinkedIn. Just, a couple of days back, I saw somebody in my field, get the interpretation wrong. One of the funny interpretation was that, hey, the lower bound is minus 250K and the upper bound is positive 250K. And so this person thinks that, it could range between something like, TK to 550K. I believe
Hmm.
this is a totally erroneous understanding. How would you explain confidence interval to people?
Yeah, so confidence intervals, they're a bit bizarre in the way that they came to be. So confidence interval is a range between where you think the true value is. And if you were to repeat the study over and over and over and over, for each study getting an interval, 95% of those intervals um, would contain the true value. So sometimes I think a misconception, and I was guilty of this when I was first learning statistics, it has nothing to do about the probability of it being in that interval. It either is or it isn't. So if we take like some numbers and say confidence interval of 1 to 3, is number 4 inside of it? No, there's no probability. It's either yes or no. So I think sometimes the 95% aspect um, gets misconstrued. I think it would be probably a bit more helpful to remove that and say this is the interval that we think the true value is within, somewhere in here. And then in the methodology section, say we used a we used a 0.05 as the cutoff for type 1 error in our. That's why our confidence interval is 95%, rather than anything to do with probability.
Yeah, that was a great explanation, and I think that clears out all the misconceptions with respect to confidence interval. Why do you think people get all this frequentist, concepts wrong? Do you think, is it poorly taught or is it poorly understood or both?
So I think it's a couple of things. I don't think it's necessarily poorly taught. I think it's no different than any other subject. Like there's some great resources, there's some that aren't. One that I would highly recommend for anyone interested in statistics is there's I believe it's called Seeing Theory by Brown
Hmm.
University, and they have great visuals to help understand all this.
Hmm.
I think part of it is that statistics use coming from a different field of engineering, the field uses some terms that are a little backwards, or it's a trade-off of understanding versus being 100% technically accurate. So using like 95% confidence interval, the minute you add a number in there, people will interpret that in a